Hi, I'm John Grabski. I'm the founder of Teeth. Hi, I'm John Grabski. Hi. Teeth is a hard rock music project. My name is John Grabski. It's hard and heavy. Hello and welcome to, I can't do this. Well, I'm dying of cancer. And, I wanted to write music about it.
When I think of the experience of making the record, I think of the arc of the whole thing. Like the whole of my relationship with John is kind of wrapped up in making this record and the session that followed it. Yeah, I haven't listened to this record in a while. It's really, really great. I'd forgotten how powerful, like physically powerful a drummer he is, you know. Like considering what he had to deal with, especially the medications, which were sometimes quite debilitating. The fact that he had the physical power and the stamina to play that way for, you know, days on end was, just listening to it on playback, that's also very impressive, you know. Until I met John Grabski III, I had no idea how to die properly. John's relationship with cancer started a half-decade earlier when he underwent treatment the first time.
I know a lot of people have gone through cancer before, and a lot of people have beaten the crap out of it, and you know, I want to be one of those people, and I'm trying to be one of those people. But at the same time, it kicks you and it slams you and it screws you up. It makes you just lose time and moments and stuff like that. And I don't want to lose a single moment with anybody, with my friends and my family. Stuff's gonna be happening for a long time. And I'm just a little bit sad about that.
He rebounded and regained his strength, rejoined the musical community in upstate New York, and resumed a creative, active life with his friends, his children, and his family. When cancer reasserted itself in a terminal diagnosis, he made a choice between two options: undergoing a regimen of treatment that might extend his life at the cost of its quality, or a less invasive course that would allow him to continue living more or less normally by suppressing some of his symptoms and alleviating his pain without increasing his longevity. He chose that second course. John contacted me after making that decision and said he wanted to make an album to help deal with, document, and express his relationship to cancer, and I was happy to help.
I have always thought that if I were to ever work with anybody, that I would want to work with him. When I was 15, I got Nirvana's In Utero album, and immediately I was asking myself, why does this sound the way that it does? Why do the drums sound this way? And I knew that it was this guy.
John enlisted his brother Ben, and the two of them drove to Chicago to record the album The Strain.
Don't sell yourself short, the money's not coming. I was promised a fortune, oh, this better be good.
It's 9:24 a.m., making good time. We're on our way to Electrical Audio Studios in Chicago. electrical audio. We're here.
John and Ben worked diligently and efficiently. John playing drums in a fluid, powerful style, the cancer having little apparent effect on his stamina. He and Ben shared guitar and bass duties. The primary guitar used on the album was a Harmony Les Paul style guitar that was customized for John by his uncle. And John contacted one of his favorite drummers, Cody Willis from the Melvins and Big Business, who lent a snare drum for use on the session.
It's never easy to be so chained, so free.
This guitar, it's an all aluminum guitar made by a guy named John Volino in the 1970s. And so this is the same guitar that Kurt Cobain used on the In Utero album, and John got to use it on his album, and he was kind of stoked about that. I mean, I actually think that's pretty charming as well. That one of his favorite bands made an album that he liked using that guitar, and he got to use it to make his album. I think that's pretty cool. John marveled openly that he was finally getting to make the album he wanted to make, and he was connecting both his favorite bands and his entire family in the process.
A lot of the songs I didn't have down 100%, and I thought that was going to be a really big problem, and I was like really afraid, and I was like listening to them over and over and over like the day before, and we got in there and it was just like really natural. It seemed as if we had been playing together all the time already. Didn't seem like a new sort of thing, didn't seem like I had to like try to be on his wavelength or anything like that. It just sort of like felt really good, really easy.
It was incredible to me to see somebody who was simultaneously expressing a unique perspective on his own mortality and helping his brother deal with the fact that he was going to be losing a brother, and be aware that he had a limited amount of time to do productive work and he wanted to be productive. It really made an enormous impression on me.
Wait a minute, no, after the first. Right there. Right on that hit.
So that's where it finishes, or that's where the fade out starts?
That's where the fade out could start, right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the run-up to making the album, John joined the online forum associated with our studio, told his story, and was immediately embraced by that community. For the album and his progression through cancer, John adopted the tagline, "Rock versus Cancer, Rock Wins," adding it to Facebook and Bandcamp pages about the record and using it to sign off his correspondence and forum posts. While in Chicago, John and Ben were invited to play on a bill of bands at a local venue. He and Ben were received like heroes and got to hang out in person with the dozens of enthusiasts John had met online, widening and strengthening the network of supporters for the project.
This is Brent. He's from Chicago. He's also from Rochester. This is my brother Ben Grabski, and we are T.
John made his album, got it up on the web, and began attracting attention, garnering praise from journalists and other musicians, not just for his perseverance, but for the music itself. The album, The Strain, is gripping. The music is hard-edged and bracing, with John's inventive, powerful drumming and heavy guitar framing each song with a sound matched to its theme. It's a genuinely great, powerful album, made more intense by the context that it was intended to be a missive, from inside the disease of cancer, like a dispatch from the front to the outside world.
I don't know how to express myself the best all the time. I feel that I can through music. And I feel that people can't express themselves about cancer very well. And I feel that this music will help that. This is my gift to the world. And I'm doing my best to see it through.
When the album wrapped, John almost instantly floated the idea of making another one, since the first one came together so quickly. Again, I said I'd be honored to put the resources of the studio behind it. John came alone this time, and he was much worse for wear.
I'm feeling a little rough this morning. This is definitely pretty physical. Doing all the drum tracking and stuff. Doing my best, but my body isn't exactly in the best shape, so.
Tumors had multiplied and grown in his body, including a raft of them in his brain. And the medicine that suppressed the symptoms and pain from the tumors weakened him and left his acuity slightly dulled. Nevertheless, he committed to making the record, and day after day he made progress toward an album intended to complement the strain. When this session ended, he had recorded all the drums and guitar for the album, and preliminary plans were laid to complete it later in the year, his health permitting. John's health didn't improve, and he passed away March 9th, 2012. What John did in his final month was prove that death is truly a part of life. For him, death was not a terror, just a thing he had to deal with. We all have to deal with it, but he had to deal with it imminently. That said, he refused to let his terminal condition define him or dictate the terms of his life. I know that how John lived and died isn't about me, but I saw him in the middle of it, and it made an indelible impression on me. When I think about the scores of people who are diagnosed with cancer every day, I can only imagine how disorienting, how alienating that must be. And just as each cancer case is different, inevitably, the images of cancer patients in the media and public consciousness will fail to resonate with some of them. Trying to imagine a kid with cancer feeling alone and distant, I can also imagine that kid coming across the strain and seeing an example of how a cancer patient can confront the disease head-on and unflinchingly stare it down. I think John Grabski, Teeth, and the Strain could inspire a cancer patient to continue his life rather than put it on hold, to take a shot at fulfilling an ambition, to carry on eating with gusto, laughing, making plans, and engaging 100% with the world around him. John wasn't trying to wrap things up. He was just carrying on. He was living his life as a continuum, and that involved working on music. Sure, he knew he wouldn't be able to carry on forever, but he wasn't going to cut himself off, to do the disease's dirty work. If cancer was going to kill him, it would have to interrupt him to do it.
There's so many great artists out there, so many that have much more talent than I do on all of the instruments that I've played, and some that have gone through more difficulty than I in some respects, and are more deserving of their craft being heard by the masses or whatever. But I've been handed this opportunity, and this could just be for my family and me and my friends, and that would be okay. It'd be more than okay, because this whole thing has been special. I love music more than almost anything else, and music has kept me ticking when I'm not supposed to tick. It's rock and roll, and that's what I want to make for people. I guess that's a mark that I want to leave on the world, I guess. No matter how small my world is, you know.
John died in the company of his family, and his namesake father shared this story with me. On Friday afternoon, I sat talking with John in his apartment just hours before cancer took his life. He sat in a very small chair in the middle of the room, elbows on his thighs with his hair hanging down over his knees, as if to refuse to allow cancer to steal away even a fraction of his day. I asked him carefully, "What are you thinking about, John?" He very slowly and deliberately fixed his eyes to mine as he said, "Tomorrow. I'm thinking about tomorrow." This was yet another example of rock versus cancer. Rock wins. To the last second of this beautiful man's life, John never allowed cancer to steal his character, his spirit, his mind, or his dignity. He acknowledged that in the end it would take his physical life away, but maintained that cancer would never define him, nor would it dictate the terms of engagement. The powerful and profound music of Teeth sends a clear message to cancer and serves as a beacon that shines the way forward for those caught within its deadly grasp. Cancer claimed his body. It was unsuccessful claiming the man, and as hard as it tried, cancer could not claim his music. The way John faced his mortality was inspirational. When my time comes, I hope I can follow his example. I hope when I die, I go like John, embroiled in the middle of things, surrounded by people I love, doing the things that matter most. I hope I'm man enough to be thinking about tomorrow.
Thank you, everybody, very much, from the bottom of my heart. All my friends and all my family, my two beautiful children, and everybody I know that's given me encouragement. Thank you.